What up YouTube, Topaz Jace back for another review, and this one is to that Nasir, and I'm gonna give it the yellow light because it's cool, but honestly, it is like all these other projects that Kanye has been releasing, man. It's rushed, because let's keep it 100. Did you actually believe that Nas was going to come out with an album that's scheduled to go along like this, like every week a new album drop? Like, historically speaking, Nas has never met a deadline exactly on point, you feel me? And the reason being is because of his whole skill set and how he records. He likes to make a song and then come back a couple days later, remake the song, then come back another couple days later, rewrite and change it all the way up until he feels as though he got the song perfect. That's always been his MO from the beginning. And since he didn't do that on this one, you overtly have to say that they are rushing these projects to make a statement. And you know, it's a heck of a statement that Kanye can get all of these individuals on the same page and release music consistently like this, but you're missing the whole point of this entire game. It's not to be consistent, to consistently drop music to prove your dominance. It's about consistently releasing great music, and we're really not getting that here, even though I like a lot of elements here. Like, I like how he's releasing all of these joints, like every time he's in a new place and they're streaming it with a whole crowd of people, as this one was being streamed in the QB and such, which is only right. I support that, and it looked to be a super hype thing you did, but musically speaking, only about one song off this that I actually really liked, and we're gonna jump into all of these songs because it's a Nas album, man. You gotta touch on everything. So let's start from the top, man, that Not For Radio joint. As I listen to the production here, man, this is something that Nas has done before, but better. Because when you hear that chorus sample of that production, man, that takes me back to Hip Hop Is Dead, that Blunt Ashes song, which was a pretty dope song from Nas way back when. It reminds me of that, but yet it's not on that same caliber. But the reason why he's calling this Not For Radio is because he's kicking knowledge in this that's so deep that you'll never hear it on any commercial platform. Even though it is somewhat true, man, like how SWAT was created in order to stop the Black Panthers and all that. That's facts. Like, a lot of things about the Black Panthers changed the laws. When they found the loopholes in the laws and stuff, man, to carry guns, that's when the NRA, of all people, the people that's there to protect gun rights, they're the ones who came out and co-signed to change the actual gun laws out there in LA and all over the United States. How we said that Lincoln didn't really free the slaves, man, because it was overtly going to happen anyway. We did that. That's true. Like, to be real, the North and all that they try to say in the historical books, they wanted to free the slaves out of the goodness of their hearts. That's not how it happened. They had to do it, and we as people, we fought for our freedom and we got it. They just giving them the credit like they do in all of the historical books on how they whitewash history still to this day. The next song, Cops, got that whole 80s hip-hop feel to it, especially seeing as though they got the sample of the Slick Rick up on there, man. And then I also like the whole idea that Kanye West had on this production, where he looked at an interview with Richard Pryor and actually sampled Richard Pryor when he got animated and tried to use that as an effect on the beat. I like the thought process, but yet in practice it was pretty garbage. Like, this entire production was pretty garbage here. And then when you look at what they're talking about on here, Nas is specifically talking about the injustices that we see as a people, especially dealing with the police. And when you look at the grand scheme of it, man, it's generational, because that's what Richard Pryor was talking about in his skit so long ago, the same things that we are living through right now. And then Kanye is featured on this, man, and he has his moments, like how he's saying, who is you gonna call when this 911 doing the drive-bys and stuff, man? Like, that was a pretty cool bar, but yet I'm not trying to hear none of that from Kanye, especially when he tries to throw in there, like, okay, the references to fake news and the references to every story has a different side and all that, man. Like, his buck dancing and cooning that he's been doing consistently, he always try to sprinkle that in on these types of songs, and I'm not trying to hear that. And this is something that a bunch of people have been somewhat critical of this project. project that's come out. Like, Nas, a guy who's been notoriously socially conscious for the entire career of him dishing out music, him doing this project with a buck dancing coon like Kanye West, it kind of had a lot of people scratching their heads and such. But at the end of the day, it's still about getting the money and being successful, which Nas is not apologetically for it, and I don't feel as though he should be. Easily Cops was the worst song off this brief EP. The next song is that White Label, or that I'm Gonna Have to Leave You Here, as this was super brief, but yet it shows you that this song and this entire project here was rushed, because that production, it's dynamic. I'll give Kanye that. Is ever shape-shifting, ever-changing as it goes, and it's an interesting thought process there. But yet, it's not really production for rapping, at least not especially for Nas here, as Nas's flow didn't really line up with this production, dude, and the fact that they would release it on the project, it shows you that it was, okay, let's just throw this on here so we can be on time here. Nas is just spitting on this song, man, not anything miraculous like how he's saying how he's sleeping on these expensive beds, but still he's losing sleep as he's laying up next to Jet Beauties of the Week and such. That was cool, but by far this was another pretty bad one. Now, Bonjour was much better, you dig? Not a song that I'm going to download and keep for myself and all that, man. But it was way better than the previous two, as he's rapping about the luxurious lifestyle, as he's hitting us with street knowledge as he goes, like how he's talking about the dog and such, where if the dog pees on your carpet, you put the nose in it, so you check it from the door, and that's all like a metaphor on how you deal with individuals that's messing up. And then on verse 3, when he's talking about how he's not enjoying himself on certain vacations because he's always seeing poor people that's in the struggle and all of that, and then he's giving more street knowledge on, okay, you need to invest your money in order to continue to climb, and to beware on who you having kids and stuff with, man, as this is something that I've talked about for quite some time. Like, these women that you tie yourselves to for 18 to 21 years and all that, they will sabotage you. But he also does have some slick balls up in there too, like how he's saying, this chick, she didn't even see me coming, now she's an eyewitness. Slick stuff, like some of the best stuff off of this project, man, but not one of my favorite songs. Now, my favorite song was that Everything, man, because he's going pretty deep on this one, especially how he started it out saying, okay, the media is slinging mud and we use it for huts. Like, that's just an accurate depiction on how we as black people have endured through America and such. Because our perception from being in the newspapers to the news to the bloggers and all of this stuff has never been positive, but yet we as a people collectively have been able to take that negative imagery and flip it into building our own out of it, and they can never stop us from that. And that's overtly what Nas is talking about. Like, you can create all of your slander and do all of your blog work, but yet I've reached a level off of it that you can never really diminish me. The second verse, he gets rather deep here too, where he's talking about a child getting the first immunization shots and they're crying to the parents like, you should have protected me from this pain, but yet he looks at it from a different point of view. The child is being introduced to the same pain that we have had generationally, man, and still going to be to this day, as he breaks it all the way down from, okay, the bus boycott and all of this is the same kind of thing that happened with the whole Starbucks boycott. Like, it's the same pain, different time of day, and this new child is going to have to go through it too. In the last verse, Nas is talking about the houses that he bought up for himself over the years. He gets deep with it because the whole purpose of him buying up these houses is to buy back the land that his ancestors were once slaved on. And that brings it all the way back to the basic concept of this song, because he got some money, he got everything. What would he do with it? He will change everything. He's going back to all of the wrongs that his people had, and he's buying it up and changing it for himself. The next song was Adam and Eve, and it wasn't one of my favorite songs off of it because of the production and such, but yet I enjoyed how deep he was going in on the verses here, on how he's pretty much talking about the bloodlines of individuals. How on the first verse verse, he's talking about his own personal bloodline of how he got the mentality and his people. While the second verse, how he's saying the ghost of gangsters dance. How chinchillas on hangers is shaking and all that. He's overtly talking about the ancestors of gangster heritage and such that he feels as though he's a part of. In the third verse, he's talking about the weak bloodlines of people that really didn't do much but snitch and all of this, and he makes that all the more clear when he's saying, "You broke my heart, Fredo," where that's a infamous quote from The Godfather 2. And the last track was Simple Things, another brief one, man, but this one was deep for the little bit of time that it had. As he said that he's looking in longevity's eyes. He's playing with infinity's mind, and forever that's his guy. And this is overtly him saying that he is forever, and he breaks it down all the more when he's saying, "I never sold records for the beat." Like, verses is why people purchase. That's him throwing a bit of shade on the music industry and where it's at now. And him saying that he's forever because he's lyrical and he's always talked about core things that the hood always need to hear and such, man. Which, deep stuff, I wish he would have pieced it together way better. But it is what it is. As this overall project, man, it's interesting. Like, I enjoy the deep things that Nas is talking about, but it's not that good of a project. As I said, only one song on this that I actually really like. The production was rather lacking the entire way through. You kind of would expect greatness if you're talking a Kanye West produced Nas album, and we really just didn't get that. But the lyrical content of it, it pushes it up a little bit. So I'm gonna give this one a 6 out of 10. Definitely peep this joint on out, but it's not anything amazing. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.